ਸ਼ਿਕਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਟੀਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਰਸ਼ਦੀਪ ਤੇ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ 20 ਤਰੀਕ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਊਨਿਸਪਲ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਹੋਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਡਡ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਅਡਡ ਟਰਸਟੀਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੋ ਟੁਡੇ ਆਈ ਹੈਵ ਲਿੰਦਾ ਐਨਿਸ ਫਰਮ Surrey First Team and she is Executive Director of Metro Vancouver Crime Stoppers, an organization known for tremendous work they do in Surrey and across the region. Linda is a member of Kwantlan's Criminology Curriculum Advisory Committee. Yeah, so she is working, she's an active volunteer with Peace Arch Hospital and Nature Trust of BC. So ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ Surrey First ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਲਈ ਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੀ ਸਟ੍ਰੈਟਜੀ ਹੋਗੀ ਲੈਟਸ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਹਰ ਬਿਫੋਰ Welcome, Linda.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you so much for coming. Let us know about yourself first.
Thank you very much. Well, I've lived in Surrey for almost 20 years. I, as you mentioned, am the Executive Director for Metro Vancouver Crime Stoppers, which covers an area from Boston Bar through to Powell River. I'm extremely proud of the work that we do at Crime Stoppers. It's a terrific organization and helps solve an awful lot of crimes. And just a little bit about Crime Stoppers is since the inception, we have recovered more than $500 million worth of property and drugs as a result of Crime Stoppers tips. And there's been over 7,800 arrests in Metro Vancouver alone, again as a result of Crime Stoppers. So the program really works. And just to segue a little bit more about me, I'm an active volunteer in my community. I sit on the board of the Zajac Ranch for Children. I'm actually board chair there. I'm vice chair of Osteoporosis Canada. I'm a director with Semiamu House. And I do a lot of other volunteer work, as you mentioned, with Peace Arch Hospital and Nature Trust of British Columbia.
So as you work with the Crime Stoppers, and how many complaints or reports you are getting from Crime Stoppers, a company or a team, or you are working with Crime Stoppers, and how you deal with the situation?
Sure. We get about 6,000 tips per year for Crime Stoppers. Everybody that calls us remains anonymous, so that's why the program is so successful. Last year alone, there was about 200 arrests and charges as a result of Crime Stoppers tips, and about $11 million worth of property and drugs recovered. So the program is extremely successful because when people call us, they remain anonymous. So they don't have to give their name, we don't want their telephone number, we don't want to know where they live. We don't want any of that information. We just want the information.
ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਸਟਾਪਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਲੇ ਦੁਆਲੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਸਟਾਪਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਆਲਵੇਜ਼ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਸਟਾਪਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਨ ਕਰੋ ਸੋ ਕਾਲ ਦ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਸਟਾਪਰਸ ਦੇ ਵਿਲ ਨਾਟ ਰਿਵੀਲ ਯੂਰ ਨੇਮ ਐਂਡ you just tell them the situation and they will search for it. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ RCMP ਤੋਂ ਅਲੱਗ ਕੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ they are not exactly a police but they are working to stop the crime.
And maybe I can just add that to your point that we are not the police, we're a not-for-profit, we're completely independent from the police. And the other really nice thing about Crime Stoppers is we take tips and we have translators available in 115 different languages 24 hours a day 7 days a week.
That's really good so that people can approach you any hour, any time of the day or night. They can contact you and tell you the situation.
Absolutely.
And Linda, you are working with hospitals as well. So Surrey is struggling with the hospital issue as well, as you know. We have one hospital here, but it's so crowded. People have to wait for emergency, and we have Peace Arch as well, but that's not that big hospital. So what do you think about the new hospital in Surrey?
Definitely we need a new hospital in Surrey. Our population is growing at a rate of about 1,000 per month. And soon Surrey will be bigger than Vancouver. We need to have more infrastructure in place to take care of the community, particularly as the community is aging and we have young families here. We need to be able to provide the adequate medical resources
And you are running for a counselor. You did so many volunteer. Like, why you think you have to run for a counselor?
I love Surrey. I'm really passionate about my community, and I hear so much about the activities that we have here around criminal activity, around gang activity, and I want to help out, and I want to help get rid of the image that Surrey is the gang capital of the world, and I also want to ensure that family and youth feel safe in their community. So if I'm elected councillor, I really want to focus in on that particular piece of our platform, the public safety piece.
Public safety is must, as you said. People think that it's Surrey is the capital of gang violence in the world, right? We don't want to be. So you guys are working for it, or you have any strategies, any plans to work on it or to control for it?
Absolutely. I'd like to just add that, Surrey gets the reputation as being the gang capital of the Lower Mainland or of British Columbia. Indeed, it's not. It's a Lower Mainland problem. It's a British Columbia problem. It's a Canadian problem. We all have to work closely together. My particular platform with Surrey First deals with a few issues. One is oftentimes kids under the 18 are left at home because both parents are working and they don't have anywhere to go after school. So what we're going to be doing is opening up all the recreation and community centers to all of the kids under the age of 18 free of charge. Another thing that we're doing that I think is very, very good is that we're going to have a central hub where parents, if they think their children are entering into gang lifestyle or are needing some help to get put back in the proper direction, they can call there and it will be a number that is really widely known, because I honestly think most parents, even if they think their kids are heading for trouble, they don't know where to call. They feel very helpless, and we want to give them that comfort and that guidance so that they can get their kids back on the right track.
Are you having any program to inspire kids to go to the gym, to the pool, to rec centers? Do you have any program to encourage them?
Absolutely. We're one of the platform pieces that Surrey First has is that we're going to have a youth council, and youth will help us develop strategies to engage youth in the community. So rather than adults saying you should do this or you should do that, we're going to go to the youth and say, what is it you'd like to do?
That's the good plan to because people want police as well, because a role of police is big, because they thought that kids can afraid from the police, or in the presence of police they are not going to go in drugs or gang violences, or so some people want local police rather than RCMP. What do you think the local police will be helpful?
I think we need to look at when we're elected as what is it Surrey really needs in terms of policing. One thing that I think we would all agree on is we need more police. Surrey is bigger than Burnaby, Richmond, and Vancouver all combined. Yet we have about 2/3 the number of police that Vancouver has. So we really need to address that so we can improve response times. But to your point, do we need municipal police or do we need RCMP? I think we need to look at that a little more closely and determine exactly what we need for policing and what the cost will be, and then put it out to the people in a referendum to decide what they would like to do.
For the police and RCMP discussion, we will come back after the break, and then we will take that issue and discuss about that. So ਹੁਣ ਵੇਲਾ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਇੱਕ ਛੋਟੀ ਜਿਹੀ break ਦਾ. We will be right back after a short break. Welcome back after a short break. We are talking with Linda Annis, who is running for a councillor with the Surrey First team. And before break, we were discussing about the RCMP and the local police. You said the local police, we are going to do referendum. So is that easy to replace local police with RCMP? And how much time it's going to take if people in referendum will choose the local police?
It's not a really easy task to do. First of all, we have to look at the RCMP contract. We have a multi-year contract with the RCMP, and we do have to give notice to the RCMP. The other thing that we need to be mindful of is currently the policing budget is partially funded by the federal government. So 10% of the total police budget is funded by Ottawa because we use the RCMP. Should we switch to municipal police, we don't get that 10%.
Oh.
So that's something very important for us to consider. The other thing that we need to be mindful of is that there's different rules when you're having municipal police, and we also do believe that we will need more policing. Now, there's a cost that comes to that, and having a municipal police force is more expensive than having the RCMP. So we have to think about that, and we have to think about how are we going to pay for it.
You talked about the budget, and you said 10% is coming from the federal government, and then they won't give us the 10% if we are going for the local police.
That's correct. If you're using a national police force like the RCMP, the federal government does kick in 10% of the cost of the policing budget.
ਸੋ ਇਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਲੋਕਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ 10% ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਆਟਵਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲੂਗਾ। ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਪਊਗਾ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਕਿ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। They need time to change police from like RCMP from local police. They need time. We need to think about it. We need to arrange the budget, and then we can go for it.
And I'd like to add just one other thing too, is the RCMP has their training facility in Regina, and they can only recruit so many individuals to go through. So, when we're switching police forces, we have to be mindful of how are we going to get the number of members that we need if we switch to a municipal police force, because they also have the Justice Institute where their police are trained, and we need to know how we're going to be able to ramp up to the requisite number of police that we need.
As you know, Surrey is dealing with so many issues, crime, youth, and we have issue with LRT. Paul gave us all the details about it. So what other issues you think Surrey needs to focus on, and you are going to do something for that issue?
So Surrey is growing so quickly. We're growing at a rate of about 1,000 people per month. One of the things that we need to make sure that we do, we need to be able to provide affordable housing, but we also need to make sure that our infrastructure is in place to support all these people that are moving to Surrey. Some of the things are things that the city can do to ensure that this happens, and there's some things that the city needs to do to advocate to the provincial and federal government to ensure that we have them fully cooperating with the city to provide those services.
And if I'm talking about your team, tell us a little bit about your team and why you choose Surrey First.
We have a fabulous team. We have a very diverse team. We have members from all of the communities throughout Surrey. We're not just from one community. We are very diverse, both in nationalities, in ages. The other really interesting thing too is we have 4 women running for council, and we have 4 men. So it's nice to have that as well.
Yeah.
And we have a team that really complements each other. We've been together for just a couple of months now, but under the leadership of Tom Gale, because he is such a strong leader, he's really brought the team together, and we are a very, very close-knit team.
Linda, we know there is always a debate between a perception and a reality. Everybody wants a safe place to live, to do business, to grow up their kids, and what exactly your strategy to deal with the root cause of the problem, root cause of crime, like any one fundamental, you can say, control to control the crime and all issues.
We have to get to the root cause of what is causing gang activity, and I think a lot of it has to do with keeping kids busy. Early intervention, kids can be identified as early as 10 years old that are maybe taking the wrong choice in life, and we need to work with them then before they get too immersed into criminal activity or just in terms of bad behavior. So catch them early through the school programs, through recreational services, with working with families if they're needing help with their kids. So we need to start early, and as early as age of 10.
And you are running for a counselor. What will be your priority if you elected?
Public safety is my number one priority. The other priority, and I shouldn't say number one because that is huge, but also is working and supporting families and children in our community.
That's really great. And we know tomorrow is the last day of election. So tomorrow is October 20th from 8 to 8. There are polling. What is your message for the voters?
Get out and vote. Everybody should vote. We all, as good Canadians, need to exercise our right to vote. Many of us, coming from other countries, haven't had that opportunity. We need to do that. And I do hope that everyone will vote for Surrey first, because I believe that Tom Gill and his team have a really strong platform, and I think we can really take Surrey to a new level.
And last but not least, why you?
I'm very passionate about my community. I've lived in Surrey for almost 20 years. I know the issues that Surrey is dealing with. I really think that I can make a difference to making our communities more safe, to enhancing Surrey's reputation, both in British Columbia and in Canada and around the world. And I also think that I have a good understanding of what we need internally in Surrey.
And as you know, advance poll happened, and most people come out and they vote, and this year advance poll were double than the year. That was a good sign. So thank you for coming, and good luck for your campaign, or we can say good luck for tomorrow, and we'll see who will elect for the Surrey.
Really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So isn't Linda Annis, who told us about what she wants to do for Surrey. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੀ perspective ਹੈ, ਕੀ vision ਹੈ Surrey ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ. So Surrey ਇੱਕ growing country ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, city ਹੈਗੀ ਆ. So ਇਹਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਇਹਦਾ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਘਰਾਂ ਚੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਿਕਲਣਾ. ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਵੋਟਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਆ, 8 ਤੋਂ 8 ਵੋਟਾਂ ਪੈਣੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ. So go and vote for a right candidate, and ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਟੀਵੀ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਿਓ ਇਜਾਜ਼ਤ. ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ.